Digital 410 Productions proudly presents the What's in Your Head podcast.
Digitized live from
your company name here.
Studios in Cape Coral, Florida. It's the What's in Your Head podcast.
You walked right in here and found something to eat.
What dogs do, man.
But she ain't got no goddamn nose. Different, she's a beagle. You know what I'm saying? What's up, OG5? Welcome to another episode of the What's in Your Head podcast. Joining us tonight, other than Bailey, who's eating random oddities off the floor, is Morgan Long. Morgan, how you doing tonight, fella?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We need to play a little catch up. Last week, I asked you guys not to let me forget, and then you let me forget about the water fiasco. Hopefully, this will be the last time you hear me mention the word fucking city water in the city of Cape Coral on this podcast. I doubt it, because they can't stop. Remember a few weeks ago, I was complaining about the fine people of the water district of Cape Coral, and I was talking about how they kind of remind me of the kid from Better Off Dead, the newspaper boy. Always knocking, saying, I want my $2. I want my $2. Or better yet, they're kind of like, you ever like had, Morgan, I know you have, because you come from a proud white trash family as myself. You ever had that family member or perhaps a neighbor in the old trailer park who's a bit of an alcoholic or a drug addict, and then he realized somebody owed him $10, and then he hounded that dude for eternity? Hey man, hey, you got that $10? You got that $10? Yo, hey, you got that $10? Now, in both those instances, those people are right to demand their $10 or $2 because they let somebody have it, or in the case of the newspaper boy, services have been rendered. And so during this whole period, first I had to come up with $40,000. We acquired that. Then we had to find a plumber who hooks up the, because $40,000, you think they're going to hook your house up to the water that no, silly. You got to pay for that out of pocket. So then you got to find a plumber who A, will fucking touch that job because the city of Cape Coral is such a nightmare to deal with, and B, someone who doesn't want to give you the we don't want to deal with it price because Cape Coral is so hard to deal with. And I got one of those we don't want to do it price. My neighbors said, hey, my guy does it for $3,000. Called him. He's like, yeah, we're done doing that. We did a few of them. We're done. Called our very good friend Mike's, works for a plumber. So yeah, we don't touch those jobs with a 20-foot pole. Now keep in mind, folks, there are thousands of houses in Cape Coral that need this service done. This isn't just happening to my neighborhood. They've been pushing this out for 30 years. They've been forcing anybody with well water onto the network because they need to pay for this water plant. And they do it under the guise that the aqueducts are drying up, which in the last 22 years I lived here, I've seen reports maybe 3 times of people's wells drying up, and it's only for a week or two. But then we could also get an argument of where's the city getting their water from. But that's neither here nor there, right? They got a giant pool in the sky they get their water from. They're not getting their water from these aqueducts. But anyhow, that's a whole nother conversation for another time. So I paid them $40,000. Meanwhile, I want my $2. I gave you your money. Yeah. We see you guys haven't pulled your permit yet. You gotta hook up this water. I already gave you I know, but we need more. Oh, you fuckers need that monthly bill. The $40 is just a drop in the bucket compared to that monthly bill. Why aren't you hooking up to the water yet? They literally came here one day and had Carrie sign a document stating, after we gave them 40, like we're going to back out. It's like, hey, here's $40,000, but we've changed our mind. Keep it. Carrie signed it. I'm at work one day. Ding dong. I got a certified letter here. Sorry, I'm at work. Got to pay for that water. Just harass me. It's like the mob showing up. Hey, give us our protection money. We're breaking your fucking window. And it's really quite embarrassing. So long story short, I had one company come out here and gave me their we don't want to touch a price. They wanted to charge me $20,000 to hook up the water, hook up the sewage, destroy my drain field, and nothing else. No sod replacement, nothing else. Just hook up $20,000. Keep in mind, my neighbor got it done for $3,500. Called 5-10 places here. Nobody touched it. Finally found a very reputable name you'd recognize. I'm not here to give them a plug, but they do seawalls and docks and marine equipment, and they grade roads. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. It's a 4-letter name. They came out, did it for $4,500. Not only did they do it for $4,500, they pulled the permit, they got the water meter put in, and they got it done in one day. A lot of people here have had, like, they'll hook up one day, then their crew will come out a second day and do. They had all this shit done in 4 hours. Had to wait for the inspection, which didn't happen for a while, the final inspection. Long story short, my meter was installed on May 25th. They came out, hooked it up to my house, ran everything. I had working water on May 27th. A few short days later, on June 5th, I get a water bill in the mail. I've been on their system for 5 days. I want my $2. You owe us money. So I open up said bill. Billing date, May 27th. Have you ever had a service that bills you on the very day that service started, Morgan?
I can't say that I have.
My $2. I'm like, what the fuck? How much is this going to be for? $264.64. Bill date, May 27th, the day I had my meter hooked up and my water turned on. Actually, meter was hooked up on the 25th, the day the water was actually flowing. And I'm like, what the fuck? Total current billing, $36.25. Hey, that ain't bad. Late fee, $10. How am I late? I haven't had city water in 20 years. I've never had a water bill in my name. I don't have a, and I even got to thinking, like, maybe our old house we lived in 10 years ago, Karen's like, no, that water bill is in my name. Okay. Previous balance, $238.29. I'm like, how can I have a previous balance when I've had water for 4 fucking days? The shit was just turned on. So it was a holiday. It was June 5th. Had to wait till Monday. Called him up. Yeah, sir. The $236 is the deposit that you didn't pay when you hooked up your account. I never called you. I didn't hook up account. I gave the city $40,000 and I paid a plumber. I never made a phone call to you. So I don't know what you're talking about a deposit. And what's this late fee? This is the first bill I ever got for you. How can I have a late fee for something that I never had? Well, sir, the deposit is due and it's late. I said, I just got this bill. No, we sent you a previous bill for the deposit previous. I never got a previous bill. This is the first bill I got from you guys. Water was turned on 2 days prior to this bill showing up in my mailbox, but it was printed on the same day. What is this deposit for? Well, it's for the water. Why do I need a deposit? So that if you don't pay your bill, we have some money put aside to pay your bill. But why do I need to pay you a deposit? Well, sir, if you're a landlord and someone's moving in your apartment, I'm pretty sure you'd expect a security deposit. I said, yeah, but if that tenant paid me $46,000 moving my piece of shit, I might let that slide. So anyhow, fine, whatever. That was on June 7th. I made that phone call. Yesterday was June 23rd. And they came and shut my water off. Not even 30 days, 28 days from the day that I had my water turned on, they're shutting it off. So I call up. In order to get your water turned back on, you got to pay your bill in full. Okay, whatever. That'll be $360.34. That's funny. Last time I checked 2 weeks ago, it was $254. So anyhow, I need my water. I paid my water, got it turned on. But I called them. I said, hey, explain this bill to me. They explained the deposit. And I said, that's fine. I understand the deposit. They're like, I was like, but what's with the penalty? How are you going to shut my water off? Because thanks to my friend ChatGPT, it pulled out Cape Coral. I can actually read it to you, but I know you're not interested that much. But Cape Coral subsection 2 says that a water utility is late 20 days, but they cannot shut it off for 45 days, and they must notify you in advance of their intention to shut it off so that you can pay your bill and prevent shut off. None of that shit happened. And I said, well, it hasn't been 45 days. I've only been on the water since May 27th. And they're like, well, we sent you a bill on April 14th. For what? For the deposit. And then we sent you a bill on May 14th. What was the bill on May 14th for? I understand April 14th, the deposit. Hold that thought. I gotta let the dog out. Who wanted bad in here? Who wanted in here so bad, but now she wants to leave. You're interrupting my show. Just go. Boom. Okay, we're all adults here. We can agree that a deposit is a deposit. It's not unheard of. It happens all the time. You got to have a deposit down. Fine, I didn't get the bill in the mail. Fine. Bad on me. Didn't get my deposit. Technically, it's been over 40 days that you didn't get, not pay, you didn't get the deposit. Fine. But what's this second bill you said you sent to me? You sent me the deposit on May 14th. And now you're saying you sent me something on April 14th. What was that? Oh, your water bill. My water bill? Yeah, there's a minimum. Anybody whose house is on the system, even if they're a snowbird and they're not here actively using water, it's you pay like $10 for irrigation, $40. It's a base minimum. I said, that's cool. I understand that. I said, but I got another question for you. Hold on. My mouse has died. This stopped recording. Did we ever start the recording on this? Yes, cool.
I think it's it.
Yeah, just audition's not recording for some reason. So let me start this and I can always, whatever. Anyhow, so we can all agree we're all adults. It's not unheard of to have deposits that are required. Fine, whatever. I didn't get the bill, $10 late fee. Okay. But I'm still steaming at the fact that I've had my water shut off for a few hours and then I had to pay $360 on a $250 bill. And they're like, we sent you a bill on May 14th for water. It's a default policy. Anybody on the system. I said, well, that's fine, except for the meter wasn't installed until May 25th. The water wasn't hooked up to my house until May 27th. So how are you going to charge me on May 14th for water that I don't have access to? It don't matter, sir. You're on the system. No, I'm not on the system. It's not hooked up to my house. I have no access. Tell me, you move into an apartment. You don't have Comcast yet. Comcast is coming out on July 1st. Is Comcast going to send you a bill because there's a wire running through your neighbor's house? It's not hooked up to yours yet. Have you ever heard such a ridiculous thing? Which I didn't get that bill either. And then, long story short, had to pay the $360 because that includes my upcoming bill. But all this goes to prove my whole theory that I've been bitching about for the last 2 weeks or 2 months is this city is so poorly ran. They are so desperate for money that the day a single drop of water flows into your house, they're printing up your fucking bill. And then they bill you for water you don't even have access to. And so when you ask for a manager to try to get this straightened out, you know what the answer is?
I am the manager.
Oh, you got to go down to City Hall to take care of that.
Oh,
How's that about a fuck you? I said, oh, I forgot. You guys are a city-owned monopoly. And I've told both their employees I've talked to about this. I said, look, I ain't trying to yell at you. I know you're just an employee. But you work for some shiesty-ass fuck, and I truly hope they treat you better than they treat the general public because they are shady as hell. It's like... And I know people have been complaining about this for years. My dad had to sell his house for this. I've seen evidence of class action lawsuits have been kicked out because there's no winning this, right? The only way you could win this is if I was actually John Morgan and I lived over off Surfside in a mansion and they pulled this shit on me and I was a lawyer, then I could take them to court. I would win my $300 back. Kind of like when my boss said, fuck it, and took a day off of work and went and proved that the wannabe flock camera had the wrong address, and even though he's worth way more than the money that he got back on that ticket, he did it just to prove fuck you.
so do you suppose that maybe that bill came the day they ran over your mailbox?
No, because technically they didn't run over my mailbox. They scraped it. The guy driving the front loader basically scratched it with the back when he was spinning in circles. They did run over my daughter's bike and destroyed that. Which, by the way, for those of you new to that story, it wasn't just laying around. It was chained to a stop sign at a middle school bus stop. No, sorry, high school bus stop. She rode her bike to the bus stop, chained it to a stop sign at the bus stop, and they're doing construction on that corner, and they ran it over. And it wasn't just her bike; it was actually a classic Schwinn. It was a not 1970s classic, but anything over 20 years. It was the Schwinn bike that my father bought my stepmom in California in 2002, before Schwinn went out of business and got bought out by a Chinese company. So this was a straight, legit Schwinn from the original Schwinn family and factory, which you cannot buy anymore. Not to mention the fact that my daughter has the bike that belonged to my stepmother, who passed away in 2018. So this was like her only connection with her grandmother that she only knew for about 6 weeks after we adopted her, before she passed away. And so, they gave us $500. We tried to find a Schwinn and found out that Schwinns are all shit now. So we just went to Dick's Sporting Goods and bought a regular price piece of shit instead of an overpriced piece of shit. But long story short, they just reckon, and it's pure chaos. It's just so painful. But anyhow, hopefully the bill is paid, my water's on. But it just the whole concept is just so fucking insane that they're just coming off so desperate. Once again, like that alcoholic or that mobster, somebody who's just got to get that money in. They're so scrambling for money that they're just, and all this shit's overinflated anyhow.
So what's going to happen if this property tax thing passes?
Well, the Republicans are trying to destroy it. Yeah, because that's what they do. I'm cynical. I'm so cynical. I'm working on a new T-shirt. You might enjoy it, Morgan. It's in the 1800s font, and it says "Lifelong member of the unwashed masses." Now, for those you don't know, the term "unwashed masses" is basically the phrase that they used back in the day that the politicians, elitists, rich people used when describing, us. Because our opinions don't matter. We're just the unwashed masses. And so I've gotten so jaded. I'm not ready to buy a Daihatsu yet and turn it into a fucking killdozer. Not that I can afford one. But in the words of Chris Rock, I understand. But what was I getting to? Because you brought something up. What led us to that? Oh, what the hell were you just saying?
Oh, the property tax bill.
Oh, yeah, no.
Property tax.
No, because obviously so many of these guys, I truly don't get it. I understand that people get into politics because they want power. I understand people get into politics because they get paid off by lobbyists who fill their pockets and they get rich. But as far as I know, the IRS doesn't have lobbyists. So what I'm getting at is I don't know what's in it for the Republicans to want that property tax, because that property tax isn't going to a real estate agent and they're all real estate brokers. It's not going to the lawyers, right? Well, I guess it could in court cases. But at the end of the day, if people paid their taxes and it went into the government, it's not like the politicians have access to that money. It's supposed to get distributed. Maybe that's it. Maybe if that's less money coming in that gets distributed to NGOs that get kicked back to the politicians and they lose money that way. But I actually had this question. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, it's tough to get your cushy, high six-figure gig after your term's up if there's no company there getting the money.
That's true. See, I'm even though I'm jaded and I've been around a while, there's a little naivety back in my mind that thinks that property tax gets used to pay for the things that we're told property tax gets paid for. Like, oh, your car tax pay for the roads. Oh, okay. But, in my mind, I'm the naivete that made that connection about them getting their payroll from that tax revenue. You're right on it. But to my point, what I was going to bring up, I'm trying to get somebody on here. I want to get somebody on here from one of these organizations that are actively fighting data centers, because I want to get some true hard facts that would stand up in court, not hearsay from anti-data center people and not hearsay from pro-data center people. I want to get some true facts figures. What's the environmental impact? What is the economy impact? Do they actually see? Here's the thing. Every one of these data centers, we talked about this with the Florence Speedway outside of Sparta, Kentucky. And you hear about it all the time. Simpsons would talk about this. Oh, you need a monorail. It brings in work. It brings in tax revenue, blah, blah. And it never does. You know, when the NASCAR went to Sparta, Kentucky, said, hey, let us build the Florence Speedway here. It'll bring in jobs and tourism. They built one hotel, one strip club. Everything went out of business in 20 years. No one moved down there. You know, Sparta lost money in taxes because they gave them a tax break because it's supposed to generate all these jobs. It never does. The only people who truly benefit from most of the shit is the land developer and the person who's trying to launch whatever harebrained scheme off of that plot of land. So with all that being said, what I don't understand, and I truly think somebody needs to look into it. I don't know if they need to be audited, but here's what I don't understand. You're the mayor of Cape Coral. Actually, let's say, fuck it, Bonita Springs or Alva, because I think they're trying to build one outside of Alva now. And they're supposed to be building one in Bonita Springs. Why we need so many, I don't understand. Look, if we want to say, hey, the government needs data centers so we can compete with China, fine. Build a huge one on the West Coast, build a huge one on the East Coast, build one huge one in the center of the country. Government house. No, this is all private sector bullshit, right? Which I'm pro-capitalist, pro-private sector, but at the end of the day, why do we need two of them in Southwest Florida alone, right? Why do we actually need so many of them? But that's another argument for another time. My whole purpose of this argument, you see these stories all the time. Hey, city wants to build a data center. The entire city comes together, tells them to fuck off. City council pounces it anyway. Now, I understand it if the city council members are the ones selling the fucking land. But my question is if your entire city says no, and you do it anyhow, and technically and legally you're not getting kickbacks, then what's in it for you to say yes? There's got to be somebody's bank account somewhere has to be getting money, whether it's if they own a construction company, it's going to be doing the fucking bids. Because if there's no money getting to these council members at all, if they're all truly on the up and up, then what is truly in it for you when your entire city's saying fucking no, and you go and say yes? What is in it for you if it's not a financial gain?
Well, it's got to be something because it's certainly not getting reelected.
Yeah. So you're losing your cushy job. Like if you're the mayor of Cape Coral and you give yourself a $5,000 a month raise, and your city councilman and get a $3,000 a month. If you got a good job, you might get a $5,000 a year raise, but most people are looking like what, 31 cents an hour? They're not getting $5,000, $3,000 a month raises. So why would you go out of your way to risk that cushy ass job? You're making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. I have no idea what these people are making. But if the job's as easy and bullshit as it seems, because other people actually doing the work who work for the city, you're just fucking the figureheads. And if you're truly not making a mint, you don't own the construction company, you're not a real estate agent, or you don't own a real estate firm, you know, you're not running a concrete truck, you're not selling steel, you don't run electric. If you truly just fucking John Q, I'm here to fight for the public, and the public's telling you no, then why are so many of them saying yes?
That's a good question. So my question is, if this is a national security issue, why is it that we're not building the data center in the side of the mountain where NORAD is?
Oh, you know as well as I do, we already have that shit. We're just ain't going to talk about it because you don't want them dropping a bunker buster on fucking NORAD. And that's what I was saying too, right? This is all private sector stuff. This is, and by the way, this isn't nothing new. Amazon has server farms all around the country. There are server farms all around the country. Basic run-of-the-mill server farms that do not create noise pollution, does not require 4 million gallons of water for cooling. Just they suck up a lot of electricity, but they're literally in strip malls in an undisclosed building. I've been to one in West Palm Beach because we have servers over there. I work in IT. So server farms are not new. These are straight up data centers. And not there. Look, if you have a kid that's wanting a gaming system, you better buy or build that bullshit right now. I built this computer last February. I'm not going to go through all the specs. I'm just going to give you quick prices. I bought a motherboard and processor combo for $495. I went on Amazon, pulled out that same sale. I had a Intel i12. It's not even part of the kit anymore. It means it's the 12th gen. Now it's an i7, so you're going down multiple generations. That same motherboard with an i7 is now $1,000 when I got it for $480. RAM, DDR 5000. I've got 32 gigs. It's two 16 gig sticks. At the time, I paid $88 for that. It's roughly $44 a stick of RAM. That same exact stick of RAM, those two sticks of RAM on Amazon, is now $400 since February of 2025. That's how expensive this shit's getting because all of it's going to the data centers. Supply and demand. Supply is shrinking, and so now you want this shit, you got to pay for it. So now if your kid wants a gaming computer, you're looking at spending $3,000 or $4,000, the price of a fucking used car, because this shit is going everywhere.
I think AI is great. I mean, it's great for me because I don't type well, so I use voice to talk on my computer. Takes my incoherent, rambling thoughts and creates something cogent that I can send out to my corporate people, and they think I'm pretty smart. But is it making me better? Probably not.
Nope.
So I think that,
and it's way oversold. Did you know that the company who owns OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, lost $89 billion last year?
Yeah, I heard
Which
that.
is why now, even at work, we have one of the top tier paid subscription because it's HIPAA compliant. They don't release your information. And even on top tier paid for versions, I'm getting advertisement banners at the bottom of now.
Really?
Just like you do on the free version. Because I use the free version here at home, and then at work I use the paid for version. And I get the same banner ads on both of them. They're so broke,
Wow.
They're charging people who are paying full tier. Kind of like Amazon, playing commercials on your top tier. What's up, everybody? I hope you're enjoying this content. Listen, do us a huge favor. As you know, we here at D410 Media, we use a lot of Cast King products. We love Cast King, but we want to share those products with you. So head over to d-410.com/fish. Click on the link, go visit Cast King's website and their ever-growing catalog of fishing gear, apparel, plus much more. They got everything from shirts to fillet knife kits to line spoolers, fishing rods, everything you need, hats, sunglasses, everything you need to go fishing at a super affordable price. Quality stuff. We've been using them for over 4 years. Like, subscribe, and please go to d-410.com/fish. Thanks. Here's a question. We got 250th anniversary coming up. 3 years ago, I'd have been, woo! I'm truly thinking, neighbors may take this the wrong way, but I don't mean it in that way. But if we're truly going to celebrate the birth of this country, I might put up my join or die flag instead of my American flag. Let's fly the flag that we flew to get to where we are today. I have not the yellow Gadsden flag. I have the white one with the broken up snake that Benjamin Franklin came up with, the join or die flag, not the don't tread on me flag. Can't fly the don't tread on me because that was co-opted by the Tea Party and Obama administration, and it's been co-opted, and it's lost its reasoning. People see it as something.
I just need to fly the Beavis flag, asking, are you threatening me?
Yeah, I think I have the Florida one with the alligator. Yeah, I'm the great on.
So I think the thing that we get confused with, and what I've had to remind myself, is we're not celebrating the politicians.
Mm-hmm.
We're celebrating the people that make the country. And I think that's where we've gotten so lopsided and gone so far afield, is the politicians only represent what, our will. We tell them this is what we want how we want you to vote. In theory, that's the way it's supposed to work.
Mm-hmm.
But we've elevated our politicians, much like our sports people, to some sort of, deity status. And, politicians are celebrities now.
And
And
the ugly celebrities, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, you know, Byron Donalds, uh, Ron DeSantis, all those guys, are they really better than us?
No, they're worse because they're
We've
fucking
just,
liars.
but we've just put them in a position to represent us, and somehow we've elevated them to something beyond that.
And I wholeheartedly agree with you. I've said on the show multiple times, especially during Obama administration or Biden administration, when they're burning the American flag. It's like, look, the American flag represents us, the American people. If you've got a problem with the government, burn the American government flag. They every city government, every state government, and the federal government all have a flag that represents them. And I get that, but lately, to your point, the flag represents us, but it's us who keeps voting these fucking assholes in. Look at California. Are we just ready to say, okay, California, you get what you ask for? Are we finally just going to say, okay, you've had 30 years of these assholes, or 20 years, because, it was 22 years ago that Schwarzenegger was in. So you've had 20 years of failed leadership. You guys keep voting them in. During the pandemic, you had enough signatures to get rid of your governor. Hypothetically, you have honest elections there. You're not doing any ballot stuffing whatsoever. So based on those hypothetical situations, you guys voted to keep the same fucking moron in. The guy who was arresting people for surfing in the beach by themselves during COVID, when you're not supposed to be out 6 feet from somebody. You're supposed to be getting direct sunlight and being in fresh air. This guy's on a surfboard alone in the Pacific Ocean in Malibu around fucking nobody, and you wait for him to come in and you arrest him for breaking curfew. That's the guy you re-elected or refused to kick out. Fast forward 6 years, the entire city of Malibu, over 3 different areas of Malibu and another part of LA County, burned down. The lady who's in charge of making sure the reservoirs have water, both times. And today, 2 months ago, Adam Kroll, the reservoir's still fucking empty, even after the fire, still empty. Okay, you're not a Spencer Pratt fan. Oh, he's a reality TV star. What experience does he have? What experience does those assholes have? Who cares? If your house is on fire, and my options are keep it on fire or put a fucking garden hose on it. The garden hose ain't going to put it out. You need a fire truck to put it out, but it'll slow the spread a little bit. At least get somebody in there to slow the spread until you can fucking scrape up somebody with some better experience. But no, they had an honest election, and he's not. And the same with the governor. It's just like, look, if this election comes to its completion and you still vote in a governor that has the same intentions and the same bullshit they've been pushing for the last 20 years, and you guys have the same mayors, and no one, after half your population's moving, after they've put a war on their working class, if these are true to form honest elections and they're not stolen, then I'm sorry, elections have consequences. How many times? Shame on, fool me once, shame on me, right? Or shame on you, fool me twice. This has been 20 years. You have elections every 4 fucking years, and technically every 2 if local elections, because they're flip-flops, right? So you have your local election, national election. So how many times are we supposed to bail you out because you keep voting for the wrong fucking people?
Well, the crazy thing is they think it's okay. I mean, there are people in California that think that Gavin Newsom's doing a good job.
Who? That's the crazy thing. The media, the actors,
better than half the population, apparently.
Apparently, if these numbers are true.
Yeah.
But on a happier note, speaking of being dumb, most people tend to get out of their dumb ideas by the time they're 32. That's usually a young man's game, 18 to 24. That's why most of the people in prison are men, ages 18 to 24, because that's when your hormones are going, you're doing dumb shit, your bravado's at all-time high, you're trying to get money and power and status so you can get laid. But usually you start settling down around 32 and your crazy ideas go away. Not for young Benjamin Hallen's song. He's one of 7 people who were part of the what are they calling it? The ICE protest that got a little too enthusiastic. They started launching fireworks at the ICE facility and hit an officer with a fucking mortar. Hey, you got passion. You stand up for your cause. How good are your knees and your back? Because they just sentenced these cats to jail, label them as Antifa, under domestic terrorism charge. Young Benjamin, how long do you think he got for accidentally hitting an ICE agent with a mortar?
60 years.
Benjamin Hamlin Song received 100 years in federal prison.
Whoa!
Sentenced. He and 7 co-defendants were given a combined 450 years in prison for violent ambush on the Prairie Land Detention Center in Alvarado, Texas. So you have Mr. Benjamin, who got a 100-year federal prison sentence. Meanwhile, you can kill people and get 20 years. He got 100 years. Marcia Ruda got 70 years for launching fireworks at an ICE facility. Cameron Arnold got 50 years. Zachary Everett, they don't have their ages here, I'd have to look. He got 50 years. Bradford, I guarantee you all these fuckers are between ages of 25 and 30. Could you imagine some dumb bullshit you got caught up with because you got caught up in a movement getting you 100 years in prison? 50 years, 70 years. Elizabeth Soto, young girl, 50 years. Congratulations, you're getting out of prison when you're 70. Daniel Rowland, 30 years. 30 years. Talking about being made an example of.
Oh, yeah.
That's in 100 years. Now, when you read, it makes you question your beliefs, don't it? I mean, we all have strong thoughts and strong opinions, right? And if you ever sit down and watch movies about revolution or read books about revolution, whether it's our guys in 1774 going up against King George and physically fighting a war, whether it's the French resistance during Nazi invasion, whether it's these cats, it's one thing to say, okay, I'm going to go do this and I may die. But if you said, hey, if I go do this and get caught, I might get 100 years in prison. Would you still obviously Nazi invasion is a little different than this. I'm sure Mr. Benjamin would say it's one and the same. I'm sure he would. But my point is, gotta give these cats credit. But one would argue that if they knew that they're looking at 100 years, if they got caught, if they would still go, which is the question. Is the beliefs that you have, would you still do it if you knew that there's 100 years prison sentence on the other end of it?
I'd be hard pressed to do that, but of course I'm old. But the interesting thing
That's even easier though, right? Fuck it. I'm going to get 100 years. I'm already 50. This motherfucker's 32. That's a long term. It's different if you're 60, right?
Yeah.
I'll be dead in 30 years. Fuck it. This cat is going to spend more time in prison than he's been alive already. That's insane.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of like the joke, the older you get, the less important a life sentence becomes.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess what I don't understand is, for all of the faults of the parties that I don't agree with, while they were in power, I never thought, oh my gosh, this is literally, an authoritarian government. Yeah. Like had Kamala gotten elected, I really honestly don't believe that somebody was going to come knocking on my door wanting my and I really believe that maybe it's the media, I don't know who's responsible, but they do a much better job of whipping up a frenzy, against Trump or any other Republican than would be possible to do in the inverse.
Yeah, I think to your point, I think a lot of it has to do with indoctrination, whether it's through media, too much time on fucking Reddit, whatever forms of, where I don't know. They do say a lot of these cats are incels. If you talk to any human rights expert, what's their biggest complaint about solitary confinement?
I mean, other than it being inhumane.
Why is it inhumane? Because the worst thing you can do to a human being is deprive them physical and emotional contact with another human being. It can drive you to depression, and it can drive you insane. They're saying a lot of these cats, like the ones who get caught up in Antifa or get into this real crazy, political nonsense and these protests, saying a lot of them are incels, which stands for involuntary celibacy. These are guys they grew up on computers. They don't have the social skills. They don't have the appearances that, same or opposite for that matter. I'm sure a lot of these cats probably say, hey, I'm down with a fella too. Seems like a lot of these cats are alone, like literally when, people joke like, oh, he's alone. Lonely people do weird shit, right? And so, I mean, that may have a big part of it too, right? You're so jaded and pissed off, and you got this melancholy and this depression because you never had, maybe you have, but it's been years, and you're just depressed. You don't have emotional or physical contact with another human being at all, and and then you get indoctrinated by all the bullshit you're reading or whatever you're into. I don't know what these people are into because, as you said, worst case, if Kamala Harris would have won, yeah, it'd suck. We'd be broke, and we already are, and they'd be doing shit. But I'm not going to go down to the local fucking Democratic office and shoot fireworks or whatever it may be. But yeah, something's causing people to lose nuts, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's just bizarre. I can't understand how people, and I guess that kind of ties back into what I was saying earlier. I think that it's a lot of socially awkward people that this is their place that they feel like they can fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably,
20 years ago, we had a thing for that. It's called Listen Insane Clown Posse, but now you guys are out fucking launching mortars at ICE agents.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was kind of the outside fringe person growing up too. And so, I mean, I understand, especially when you're young, the overarching desire to be accepted.
And for young cats, young dudes, especially between the ages of 11 and, well, as we said, 18 to 24, there is an unexplainable natural instinct to rebel. You need something to rebel against. They had a movie called it The Rebel Without a Cause.
Mm-hmm.
As we spoke of before, anytime you see a swastika or an anarchy symbol spray painted in your neighborhood, it's not because you got a bunch of Nazis. No, you got a bunch of 13-year-old boys with spray cans, and they're looking to make something piss somebody off because they're trying to rebel, but they have nothing to rebel against. And maybe this is a extreme version of that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either, but it's gotten way out of control. And I mean, I just can't imagine. I mean, I was a hooligan growing up,
mm-hmm.
and I couldn't imagine going and shooting fireworks at a cop.
Close I ever got to me and my brother would have Roman candle fights, but that was consensual.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, that's just some dumb shit right there. And it's really, and I can't remember who it was, but there was something rolling around on social media recently about, you haven't gotten punched in the mouth and it shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that we've kind of forgot about the find out part of fuck around and find out.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's something to that as well. And I think that started with my generation. I mean, we had a few fist fights and all that, but It definitely wasn't the a level of violence that your generation, or let alone our parents' generation, dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
I
know.
mean, trust me, I was a smart mouth, smart ass kid, and I ran my mouth all the time. And, that's part of the reason why I've had my nose broken 5 times, and it was every time I was talking some of the best shit, and, I paid for it, but I do it all over again because, I was expressing what I thought.
Did you see that pastor that got arrested?
Oh yeah, that dude, they did him dirty. You talk about killing my family and raping my kids and grandkids. I am the least thing I'm going to do to you is whoop your ass and throw your phone in the street.
And I agree with you. I saw the interview. I'm like, yeah, the guy. I will say the one thing that makes him look bad is the fact that he ran across the street to get to the guy. It's not like the guy was up in his face threatening him.
Still,
I'm for it. I'm all for it. I don't care if he's the man of the cloth or not. Once again, you get jacked in the mouth a few times, you'll learn it. You'll second guess talking shit to people. And we need to bring that back a little bit. But it doesn't help when they have ring footage camera of you running across the street and chasing the guy down and then beating his ass. That's what got you put in jail.
Well, I mean, eventually, I guess you run out of cheeks to turn, and you got to flip some tables.
Well, he was saying that his congregation's people of all races and denominations. He said these people, this cat and these nuts are out there calling him every ethnic slur in a book and this and that. And he just basically had an ass full of it. He's just done. No pun intended.
Yeah.
He was over it, and he just whooped that dude's ass.
Well, and I guess kind of back to our, what we were saying about politicians and athletes. At the end of the day, that guy's still a guy, and everybody has their limit, and he'll have some praying and asking for forgiveness to do, but if you read the Bible, even Jesus got to a point where he's like, okay, that's enough of this. It's we've kind of gotten to this place where we've painted Christian men and Christianity in general is like this meek, passive, Melba toast kind of thing. And it's not like that. I mean, there's a place for righteous, indignation.
It just goes to show you that the people who talk shit don't ever go to church or have never been to the South, because most religious people live in the South. Most religious people work on farms and construction sites. And I was even surprised to say this. One of the things I do to stay motivated, especially when I'm sitting on my ass behind 3 computer screens, yes, I have 3 monitors on my computer at work, is I watch CrossFit-based videos. I'm not watching, sometimes I watch competitions, but it's usually the behind-the-scenes stuff from famous, the top of the tier, the Justin Medeiros and those cats, the guys who are literally winning these CrossFit competitions for $60,000, $100,000, and a huge, I would say 60 to 70% of the CrossFit community around the world are Christians. You'll see them at the prayer, like have shirts on that say pray. They're doing big prayer circles. Huge. Way more than you would think. It's not all of them, obviously, but yeah, I'd say easily 50 to 60% of these CrossFitters are not just, wear the necklace, claim to, no, I'm talking like Bible passages, like literally living in the word. Apparently it's really good for motivation, but yeah, it's to your point. You think a CrossFitter is meek. No, these guys will thump your ass and yeah, but goes to show you. Change the topic a little bit. I wish Mike was here because I want to ask him if his son can read an analog watch. For years, we like to make fun of millennials for not being able to drive a standard, but it's come to my attention that Gen Zers and the younger kids, because they're looking at iPhones, computers, cable boxes, not even cable boxes anymore, but the only analog clock that they have exposure to is on the wall in their school, but they're still looking at the time on their phones. And ironically, I'm trying to, it's dumb, but I'm doing it anyhow. I'm trying to minimize the amount of data I'm giving away for free. And I'm like, what? And more to the health point, I realized it for a while, but it just became a habit. I had a smartwatch since 2019, my Garmin. I've been wearing the same smartwatch. I still have it. I wear it when I run. I wear it when I work out. But for like the last week, I've switched to just my reproduction World War II analog watch. And the reason I say it causes anxiety is every time somebody texts me, the phone would vibrate, then my arm would vibrate. I'm in my truck. Tone on the radio, phone vibrates, watch vibrates. You and Mike or somebody else in a group chat start chatting like 13-year-old girls every 2 seconds. Blam, 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 blam. Now I start screaming, would you stop looking at my fucking phone? Not so much because of the phone, but because my arm's sitting there trying to type. Blam, 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 blam. And I realized, I'm going to stop wearing my smartwatch 24 hours a day so I can lower my anxiety because I don't need to know every time my dog's out in the backyard and trips off the camera. Blam, blam, my arm fucking shakes with the notification. Dog camera. Fucking ring doorbell. But text messages, emails, blah, blah. And it was just driving me fucking nuts. And I'm like, you know what? We need a new counter revolution where people start living. We need to encourage people to go back to analog lifestyle a little bit. I'm not saying wholeheartedly. I'm not saying go full-blown fucking Amish or Mennonite, but just, try to reduce your digital footprint a little bit. Instead of reading a Kindle, read a book. Take your smartwatch off unless you're...
Hold that thought for just 1 second.
Take your smartwatch off unless you're actively tracking what you're doing. You're running, you're going to the gym, you're walking, whatever. Do you really need to know how many steps you have all day? Unless that's your form of weight loss. Look, if you're getting into fitness and tracking your steps, I'm all here for it. But like, if you're not literally tracking your steps, and if you're not actively using that smartwatch for something health related, and you're just simply using it for notifications and controlling your phone, take the fucking thing off. Put on an analog watch. You still have your phone. But more importantly, and I really need to do this, and this is going to be the hardest part. Out of all the bullshit I've talked tonight, this is the one thing we need to start carrying paper currency again.
Yeah.
Tap to pay is convenient, especially with direct deposit. Never having to go to a bank is a godsend. I'm not a fan of banks. Paying ATM service fees. I'm sure that every time we tap the pay, there's a service fee that we don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
But the big picture is, we haven't done tinfoil hat time in a while. Tinfoil hat time, I'm not going to get into it, just going to throw the title out. Some people are claiming that Trump's intentionally trying to crash the American dollar so that his son's Bitcoin business will take off. But that's neither here nor there. But my point being is we do know that governments, China's already done it. The UK is trying to do it. America's talking about doing it. They want to move us to digital currency. You cannot have freedom without paper currency. Once paper currency is gone, we are no longer a free country. What do you mean, Don? It's already being done in practice, and we talked about it. It's being done in practice in China. They have a social credit score. You say something on Facebook or X, whatever their Chinese equivalent is, about the government or something they don't like, they ground you. How do they do that? No paper currency. Your tap to pay only works 10 miles from your house. Can't take money out of the bank. You don't have a car in mass transit. Your mass transit token will only let you take certain train routes. They're literally controlling movement by controlling money. Remember when the Canadian truck drivers were protesting over the COVID? How did they shut that protest down?
Oh, the ELDs.
That, and they started freezing bank accounts and stopping access to people's money. Because,
well, think about it here.
And all the money that was raised
through sales.
All the money that was raised through GoFundMe, they made GoFundMe refund to the people who gave the money. They wouldn't let them get to the truckers. Mm-hmm. They control your money. They control your currency. They control you. So you don't have the ability to go to, and people are saying now that people have been going to there's been a few stories, people with well-to-do people, not people like us who are broke, but well-to-do people are having problems withdrawing large sums of money from the bank. Banks won't let them do it. Why do you need to take that money out? You can transfer everything digitally.
Yep.
We need to kind of have a revolution where we slow things down a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Switch from your smartwatch back to an analog. Use your smartwatch when you're running.
This is my analog rather than voice recorders or digital notes. I've been taking notes in my little Write in the Rain book here.
Yeah. And I heard some people are, like the younger cats, want to check out old analog stuff, but yeah, I think we need to bring a little analog back in our lives and not let everything we do be digital based. And I know it's ironic for me. I'm streaming video games and I'm recording shit on YouTube and all that, but it's like, even still, I mean, just the little things.
Do you the books that you read?
Uh-huh.
Do you read hard copies of them, or do you do Kindle or something?
It used to be behind me. You can never see it. It's over here now. I have a bookshelf in here. Keep in mind, as somebody who's in LD classes who didn't start reading books until he's 32, I got roughly 150 books. I've read probably 98 of them. The reason I've read all of them is I'll start a book, and then through the What's the Scuttlebutt podcast, we get a lot of authors. And so then I get homework books. Hey, I'm coming on your show in 2 weeks to promote this book. Okay, well, I need at least read fucking half of it before I interview the guy, right? And so I'll have to pause a book, read their book, and it's really good books. I'll read it through. And to your point, I have probably about 150 books. I'll have to count them one day. And I would say 147 of them are historical, and only a small handful are either historical fiction or straight up fiction. And I don't read. To better answer your question, I was in Texas for the rooftop oath that came from a book that's being written by Andrew Brewer. He sent me the manuscript and wanted me to read it as a PDF so I can give him feedback. I put the shit on a flash drive, went to a print store, paid $30 to have them print it out so that I could read it. Here it is right here. So that I could read it in a paper format instead of sitting there on a Kindle. It is cool to also think that when this book comes out, I actually have a manuscript of it. But yeah, I'm all for hard. And I'll say this. Your fan fiction, your romance novels, your S&M books, whatever. You want to read that digitized? Fine. History books need to be hard copy. Because people can't go into a server, change a paragraph, and hit save and modify your history books that are on a hard copy on your shelf. It's never been easier to rewrite history than right now.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Yeah, I'm all for. I've actually started reading on a tablet more, and I don't really like it. I like one day I was reading a Bible passage, and I was reading it on the Bible app on my phone. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. So I went and got my Bible out and read the same passage, same translation, but reading it because in the digital format, it's not laid out the same as it is.
Yeah, because the tables are shrank and realigned to fit the format. Yeah,
so I reread it in my hard copy Bible, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I understand what they were saying, because what prompted me was I saw some, two Bible scholars having a discussion about something, and they quoted this passage, and I'm like, I want to figure out the context around that, how it fit their conversation, and it didn't make any sense digitized.
Yeah. Well, and plus, anytime you read anything digitized, you have that blue light that affects your eyes.
Yeah.
Affects your body. I don't know if there's any truth to it. I also saw some quack talking about how recent studies show that the shit in the smartwatches right above your veins all day hypothetically, some people are theorizing it can cause health issues. Don't know if it's true or not. Not why I'm doing it, but I'm doing it just to, I want to be able to want to leave my phone in the other room and not have my arm blow up because of fuck. And I have most of my notifications turned off. If I had every app notification, it'd be even worse. Only notification I have turned on is my text messages, my cameras, in case someone's sneaking around my yard. And just having that, blah, 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 it's just driving me anxious. Yeah. And so
I think,
go ahead.
I think you're totally right. And our constant need for instant gratification, I guess, for a better way to put it. I mean, I think back to when I was a kid. I didn't have contact with my family for hours and hours and hours a day. And I was actually probably better off for it than having any harm.
Mm-hmm. Free range children, they call us.
Yeah. And I just don't necessarily think that there's any reason that I need to know every time somebody I knew in high school is out to supper with their wife.
Especially now. I get it. Look, I was guilty of it when Facebook was new, when it was a thing. It's kind of how I feel about people who still text and drive and they're in their 40s. It's like, dude, this shit's been around long enough. The novelty's fucking gone. Why are you still doing this like it's fucking 2002 when you just got your first iPhone?
And besides, what do you have to convey that's so fucking important that you've got to do it while you're, fully engaged in something else? I mean, if you're giving somebody the cure to cancer or, the abort codes for the nuclear launch sequence or something,
chances are somebody else is driving you around.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose I could see that, but, otherwise, just wait till you get to a light or where you're going or whatever, for fuck's sake.
And furthermore, I'm not talking about people driving 1989 Ford Tauruses. I'm talking about people driving 2018 fucking Corollas that have hand-free Bluetooth radios and backup cameras. There's no reason to have your fucking phone in your hand.
Yeah.
You hit the button on your steering wheel. Send message to Steve. Steve, go fuck yourself. Send. You sure you want to send this message to Steve? Yes. Message sent. There's no reason. Or the people who hold their phone while it's on speaker. What the fuck is going on in your car that you can't hear your phone sitting on your console, that you need it next to your head while you drive?
Yeah, I don't get that. I mean,
what about these assholes how many times have you seen these assholes backing out of a parking lot in Publix? And it's like, both your cars have 15 cameras on it. You still can't back out without a fucking backup with your backup cameras? How do people function? I don't get it.
Well, the thing is we've become so reliant on the technology, and also people are very self-centered. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to back out. Narcissism. Well, yeah, I'm going to back out, and everybody else just needs to pay attention to what I'm doing.
I love the people who get emotionally offended by people who back their cars in the parking spots. It's like the only reason you're mad is because you can't do it. It's actually safer for the people in the parking lot when I'm pulling out. It's safer for you as a pedestrian.
Absolutely. And I just do it because I'm better than everybody else.
Exactly. Because you can't do it. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either, but I've seen a lot of people complaining about that.
A lot of that shit becomes an internet trend, so they have to jump on. Just like the whole, I hate the word moist. No, you don't. You were never offended. I hate the word. No, you hate the word moist because you're 24 and a half. And 25 years ago, when the TV show Dead Like Me came on, in the opening scene on episode 1, she's talking about her mom doesn't like the word moist, and it became an internet meme. And so starting at the age 7.5, you're reading these memes and seeing it in the zeitgeist, and you don't know where it came from. And so you just adopted it. So now that it's it's your community joke, right? It's the going postal. It's can't we all just get along? Everybody just says I'm offended by the word moist. They just don't know where it came from. It came from episode 1, scene 2 of the show Dead Like Me.
You know why I hate the word moist?
I don't know.
Because I hate everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's just it. I mean, everything that comes out, I hate it.
You know what I hate? The 4-foot wide swath of dead sod in my front lawn looks like a fucking driveway.
Yeah?
Because they covered up my pipes, and we have sprinkler restrictions. I've been going rogue. I've been fucking spraying that shit every night because it's all dying out. It's so hot down here.
Isn't there an exemption for new landscaping?
If you use garden hose sprinklers, you're spot sprinkling. So what I do is I had the modern day version of the old metal one.
Okay.
They have new ones now. They're the little black boxes, and you can control the fan. So instead of it fanning out this way, if you have a 2-foot strip, it'll just shoot up straight up, and then you can control the stop where it stops and starts. And so
nice.
I've been spraying that, but the problem is the sprinkler down in the front left-hand corner by the road is bad. It didn't work before the plumbing. I was kind of hoping they would see that where they dug up, it was right where the line was probably cut. I was hoping they'd rehook it up, but they didn't. And so most of the yard was getting water, but that front quadrant down there didn't because there was no sprinkler. So I've just been running this guy for a half hour a night, and then all night long I just run each stage for 20 minutes. But yeah, I got two. They're starting to bounce back, but yeah, looked like I had a dirt driveway up my lawn, and then the easement from where the other one goes. That one was only 2 foot wide by 20 feet long. So I got two big dead strips of grass. But anywho, hopefully things will bounce back and come back together. But I don't know. It's getting harder and harder every day. Getting jaded. Oh, one last thing. Who decided it made more sense socially to put stickers on your face to cover up your zits than just to put a Band-Aid or fucking let the zits breathe naturally? Have you seen these kids? You ever wonder why you see somebody with a star? Yeah, they put little black stars and green stars all over their face. They're covering up zits.
I've seen the little patches that look like round Band-Aids that got some kind of medicine in them.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen stickers.
Yeah, something that might match your complexion or camouflage. No, they're putting little, you'll see like have a red star on their cheek or like 4 or 5 of them. It's like, what is all? They're zit covers. It's the weirdest fucking trend ever. It's so dumb. That's just old man complaining at the rain now, though.
Well, I guess maybe so, but I remember when I was of that age, I would do anything not to draw attention to that.
And that's kind of my point too, right? You put on your sister's makeup, you kind of pop it, you put on the skin color Band-Aid, not a bright green star or a black star or bullseye or what have you, but I guess it all looks like face tattoos now. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the What's in Your Head podcast. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Thanks for supporting us. Please like, subscribe, share us with a friend. Head over to youtube.com, look for What's in Your Head. Give us a review on Amazon or on Spotify, wherever you listen to us. Thank you guys so much. For myself and Morgan, and Mike will be back. We'll talk to you all later.
This has been a Digital 410 production.